All right, folks, we're going to write the slope-intercept form when given 2 points, but we're going to use a different method this time. This is method 2, and this is my favorite method because it uses a formula that you may not be familiar with, which is called the point slope formula, which is this little one right here. As you can see, it requires one less step than if we use y equals mx plus b. That's because this formula can be easily simplified into y equals mx plus b, okay? So the first step is the same, whether you use method 1 or method 2. You're going to calculate the slope from both points. Step 2, you're going to substitute either point, and you can use the first one or the second one, the slope, into this equation, the point slope. Y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. And all we're going to do is simplify the equation and isolate the y. Here's spelling error. Here we go. Okay. All right, so as I stated before, slope formula, the first step is going to be exactly the same whether or not you use method 1 or method 2. Okay, so I went ahead and I'm using the exact same equations as I did before. Write the slope-intercept of a line passing through 1, 8, and 3, -4. Okay, we did this one with method 1. Okay, so with method 2, I'm going to do the exact same thing, but this time use the point slope formula. Okay, so finding slope, again, identify which one's your x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay? So, just as before, I made my first point. They give me x1, y1. And I made my second point my x2, y2. All right, so now, after finding slope as I did before, I got -6. Okay, just by plugging everything in again. Okay. So now I'm at step 2. Substitute either point in the slope into the point slope equation. Okay, which is y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. All right. Remember, we have an x1, y1, x2, y2. We don't have an x or a y per se. So I'm going to use my slope, which is -6. And I am going to use the x1, y1 for my slope formula. Okay, so now I'm going to plug everything in. So I have y minus 8 equals, my m was -6, x minus, my x1 was 1. Okay. Now that I substitute, now I'm going to simplify the expression. As you can see, you have a distributive property. Okay. So I'm going to distribute. Y minus 8 stays the same. And again, since this is an equation we're solving, you want to draw lines around your equal mark to isolate it. Please do so. Let me see if I can make that look neater. I'll do it this way. Okay. So -6 times x is going to give me -6x. -6 times a -1 gives me a +6. So I got y minus 8 equals -6 plus 6. Everything simplifies, and now all I got to do is get y by itself. So instead of -8, I'm going to add 8 both sides. And remember, 8 is a like term with 6, so that's where you should be putting your 8 should go underneath the +6 because they're like terms. Okay, so when I do that, what I'm left with on the left-hand side is my y equals, and on my right-hand side, I got -6x plus 14. So my equation is y equals -6x plus 14. Again, this is my favorite way of writing slope-intercept, is to use the point-slope formula instead of just using the y equals mx plus b twice. I find it a lot easier to do it this way. Now, the great thing about this formula is you don't have to use x1, y1. You can also use x2, y2 into it, and I'm about to show you that. So you can use either point with this formula. Okay, so this time, instead of using 1/8, I'm gonna use 3 -4. Okay, so I'm gonna plug everything in. Y minus a -4 equals -6 parentheses x minus 3. Okay, and we're going to do everything that we did before, simplify. So y minus the -4 becomes y plus 4. You could say 2 negatives equal a positive, or keep, flip, change, KFC, however you learned it in the past. Okay, again, we're going to do distributive property. So we get -6x. -3 times -6 is a +18. Okay, now we got to get y by itself because we simplified everything already. So instead of +4, we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. And we get y equals -6x. 18 minus 4 is a +14. So we get the exact same answer as we did before, folks. Okay? Nothing has changed except for instead of using the first set of points, we use the second. And you can do that in point slope form. Just like you can with the using the slope-intercept form twice. Okay. We're going to do one more example with the fraction one. Okay. Let me turn that to green so that you guys can see that is step 3. All right. Same example as we used in method 2 previously. So write the slope-intercept formula equation of the line containing points 4, 1, and -6, 3. And just like before, we got to calculate the slope. So our first point is our x1, y1. Our second point is x2, y2. We plug in x2 minus, sorry, y2 minus y1, which is 3 minus 1, over x2 minus x1, negative 6 minus 4. 3 minus 1 is 2. Negative 6 minus 4 is negative 10. And that simplifies to a negative 1/5. Okay? Again, I'm going to use point slope, which is only, and let me delete that one. Those are the wrong directions. And let me go back and grab the right ones. There we go, much better. All right, and again, I'm gonna do it twice, using 4,1 the first time and negative 6,3 the second time. All right, so first step, calculate the slope. We already did that. Step 2 is substitute it into y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. Okay, and we're going to use, as I said, 4,1 is our points for x1, y1, and we're going to use our slope of negative 1/5. So I have y minus 1 equals, my slope is a negative 1/5, parentheses x minus 4. Okay? So now I got to simplify the expression. Well, the left-hand side is already simplified, so I'm just going to keep it the same. My right-hand side, negative 1/5 times x. Again, whole number times a fraction, so we're going to do negative 1 times x is a negative x over 5. Okay, so can't divide by 5. Okay, or if we want to, negative 1/5 x. Okay, negative 1/5 times 4, negative times negative becomes a positive. 1 times 4 is 4. Can't divide by 5, so we leave it alone. So far we have y minus 1 equals negative 1/5 x plus 4/5. Again, we got to isolate the y since everything's simplified. So we got to add 1 to both sides. So we get y equals, and remember, you're dealing with fractions here. Negative 1/5 x stays the same. 4/5 plus 1, you got to turn 1 into a fraction, which is 5 over 5. So 4/5 plus 5/5 is 9/5. And it's positive, so don't forget your sign. So our equation is y equals negative 1/5 x plus 9 over 5. And again, for those of you who want the lines around the equal mark, because it just makes it easier for you, tell your left from your right side when it comes to equations. All right, I'm gonna do the exact same thing, but this time I'm gonna use negative 6 and 3 are second points. And you'll see it makes no difference which set you use. You can either use your first one or your second one. Okay, so again, y minus what y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. So I'm going to have y minus 3 equals negative 1/5 times x minus a negative 6. So we got quite a bit of simplifying to do, not on the left-hand side. Left-hand side is fine. It's the right-hand side. Before I even deal with distributive, I'm going to deal with that double negative. Okay? Remember, keep flip change. Subtraction becomes addition, negative 6 becomes a positive 6. Now I can do the distributive without any problems. So negative 1/5 times x is negative 1/5 x. Negative 1/5 times a positive 6. Star Wars. All right. Negative times a positive is a negative. 1 times 6 is 6 over 5. Okay. All right. Now we got to get y by itself. So instead of subtracting 3, I'm going to add 3. Both sides. If you have a calculator, the next part is easy. So you get y equals negative 1/5 x stays the same. Negative 6/5 plus 3. Again, 3 is a whole number. You got to turn to a fraction with a denominator of 5. Well, easiest way is to do 3 times 5. That's 15. So it's 15 over 5. So negative 6/5 plus 15/5 is positive 9 over 5. Okay. Fraction rules, folks. Make sure you know your fraction rules, because on the EOC, there is a non-calculator part to the test for your final. All right. So y equals negative 1/5 x plus 9/5. Okay. And some of you were taught to put the 1/5 for the x in parentheses. That is perfectly fine. Just make sure you read the directions on your math program, especially with Canvas, because it's very particular about stuff like that. Okay, so those of you who are taught to do that, that's fine as far as I'm concerned. Right. Remember, put this in your notebooks and use these examples to help you through your practice.